Slowly people are joining. Shall we start, madam? Or shall we wait until 2:05?
It's the first day, so people will take time.
Yes, you can.
Madam, total 40 members join here, madam.
Okay, ma, start cheyi.
Okay.
YouTube lo unnaru kada?
Madam?
YouTube lo unnara?
YouTube lo 35 members have joined in YouTube.
Yeah, okay.
In our Zoom app, there are more than 10 people, I think.
11 are there.
Yeah.
Okay. Start. You can start
Okay,
now.
let us start and slowly people will join, I think. Okay, madam? Thank you, madam. Good afternoon to you all. I warmly welcome all to the one-week National Capacity Building Program on Research Methodology for Social Sciences. Before starting the program, it is my duty to express my gratitude and sincere thanks to my university authorities, Professor D. Jamuna Garu, Honorable Vice Chancellor Sri Padmavati Mahila Vishwavidyalayam for her unrelenting efforts in making us perceptible, and Registrar Professor D. M. Mamata Garu for her constant support and encouragement in selecting and organizing flamboyant programs by the Women's Studies Center. Further, I cordially thank our Dean, Professor D. Bharati Garu, School of Social Sciences, Humanities and Management, and our beloved head, Professor G. Sandhya Rani, Head, Women's Studies Center and Department, and Organizing Secretary for this National Capacity Building Program. Also. I also cordially welcome our valuable resource persons, Professor Rajesh, Head, Department of Adult and Continuing Education, University of Delhi, Delhi, Professor B.P. Sahu, Head, Department of Adult and Continuing Education, Northeastern Hill University, Shillong, Professor N.K. Chada, President ICCA USA, Professor N. Arunachalam, Professor Head, Department of Lifelong Learning and Extension, Alagappa University, Karaikudi, Professor N. Adinarayana, Retired Professor, Bharatiyar University, Coimbatore, and Dr. R. Venkatravi, Department of Lifelong Learning and Extension, Gandhigram Rural Institute, Gandhigram, for their ready acceptance to be the resource persons for this 1 week capacity building program. I reckon it a pleasure to invite you all, the participants, without whose participation, this webinar, this program would not be successful. Of course, though majority of our participants know about our university and center, but still I would like to introduce about my center and the department to you all. At once again, to have little bit exposure about our works to this elite group. About our university, Sri Padmavati Mahila Vishwavidyalayam Women's University was founded by Sri N.T. Ramarao, the then Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, in the year 1983. The vision of the university is to be a premier center of education, both general and professional, for women to acquire knowledge, skills, and attitudes required to lead life as complete citizens and pursue careers of their choice. And mission of the university is emancipation of women through acquisition of knowledge and empowerment through skill upgradation, involvement and participation in various occupations in the society, and towards the end of establishing the progressive egalitarian society. It was started with 10 faculties and 300 students and 20 staff members in 1983. Now it has been elevated to more than 4,000 students and an academic staff of 105 and 131 academic consultants are offering their services for 59 courses at the postgraduate and undergraduate levels. Some of the programs are integrated programs also. And about the Women's Studies Center, the Women's Studies Center was started in 1984 with a motto of teaching, research, field outreach, and training on the women-related issues and for the upliftment of the women at community and to make the higher education accessible to the vast. Further, it also aims to promote intellectuality among different sections of the population, activists, NGOs working in the field of women empowerment and train various sections of the women groups so as to promote required skills and potentialities among them suitable to the global context on par with their male counterparts. The Women's Studies department was also started in the year 1989 and started MA in Women's Studies course, and now it has been nomenclatured as MA in Gender Studies, and also started MPhil and PhD brand, also offering the MPhil and PhD programs, and MA Women's Studies in distance mode also. The faculty of the center is involved in teaching, research, extension, and training. Since inception, we have completed more than 80 research projects from the center grants, organized about 780 extension programs, including the capacity building or training programs in entrepreneurship development, and also reached about more than 1 lakh beneficiaries at the community, colleges, schools levels. We have tried to bring the attitudinal changes and empower, and we bring the attitudinal, not only attitudinal changes, but also to create empowerment qualities among the people belonging to all the sections of the population. I can proudly say that some of our trainees from the entrepreneurship development training programs, they have started their own ventures and they are become the leaders for their community and leading some enterprises by involving their near and dears in their enterprises. Of course, I can say proudly that this is our achievement. And with this brief introduction, now I invite our organizing secretary, Professor G. Sandhya Rani Madam, to explain about the major aim of conducting of this program, 1 week capacity building program on research methodology for social sciences. Now it is over to you, Madam. Sandhya Rani Madam.
Okay, Uma, thank you. Good afternoon to all. Once again, I welcome Rajesh sir and other resource persons and participants to this 5 days capacity building program. At the outset, I deem it a pleasure to say a few words on this topic, importance of research methodology for social sciences. As we all know that research is a systematic and step-by-step search into a phenomenon. As its name itself defines its meaning that it is research. A new investigation into a subject that may be an existing body of knowledge, contribute to it through a new investigation. It is a scientific investigation followed by various methods and techniques. D. Sengler and also D. Stephenson defined social science research as a manipulation of things, concepts, or symbols to generalize, to extend, correct, or verify knowledge, whether that knowledge aids in the construction of a theory or the practice of an art. We can simply say that it is a gift to the advancement and enhancement of already known pieces of information, and social science researchers follow different types of scientific methods and techniques to conduct research. Social science research has great importance to aid economic policies of a country, both for government and businesses. It also helps to consider the basic necessity of people and thereby provide sufficient allocation of resources. A new search into society and its people helps us to find the truth about various problems in our social setups and relationships and provides an overview of the changing trends in social institutions around the world. Research in social science has a process right from formulating the research problems, reviewing of literature, developing a research design, sample design, collection of data and analysis of data, and preparation of the report. In all these stages, the researcher follows and uses various techniques and tools for presenting the final report with findings and recommendations. These recommendations are useful for formulating policies for social welfare and economic growth. The selection of research design and sample technique depends on the nature of the data. Not all the time we can go for collection of primary data, but for research, even the secondary data also, there is a lot of scope for research. Social science research in that sense refers to the study of individuals and societies and is often used to identify regularly occurring social patterns in life. With these few words, I conclude, and now the session is over to Uma. Thank you, Uma, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam. Thank you for your elaborate elucidation, madam. And now it is my pleasure to introduce today's resource person, Professor Rajesh, Head of the Department and the Department of Adult and Continuing Education and Extension, University of Delhi, Delhi, to you all. And Professor Rajesh has started his career at the Department of Adult and Continuing Education and Extension, University of Delhi, Delhi, since 1988 and elevated as a professor in 2007 in the same department. Now he is heading the department and holds several other positions also, such as member, gender and name changing committee, community development cell, Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, cluster innovation center, University of Delhi, and Vice Chancellor nominee, Department of Punjabi in University of Delhi, Vice Chancellor nominee in Department of Library and Information Sciences, and VC nominee as MPhil Committee, Anthropology Department, and member Standing Committee, University of Delhi, former Chairman, Governing Body, SSN College, Delhi University, and Treasurer, ARSD College, Delhi University. And he is also national and international expert, such as Senior Fellow of Indian Adult Education Association, Senior Expert Fellow, National Institute of Social Defense, and trainer under Ministry of Skill Development, Government of India, moderator, International Adult Education Academy, JM University, Wolfsburg, Germany, and national level expert on transgender under NISD, MSJE, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India. He has received the international academic awards, namely Moderator, International Adult Education Academy, JM University, Wolfsburg, Germany. He has also developed and introduced 4 LOCF general elective courses of lifelong learning for undergraduate students of University of Delhi, and revived and introduced the short-term courses on counseling and guidance, ELPC, toured and travel, and facilitated the development departmental MOUs signed under Vidya 2 scheme of University of Delhi, established Transgender Resource Center at the department in 2017. His areas of interest and specializations are adult continuing education, lifelong learning, population education, counseling and guidance, issues relating to elderly population and transgender. These are his research interested areas, and he has published about more than 10 books, 82 papers in the books and journals, reputed journals. He was the recipient of DAD scholarship by Würzburg University, Germany, and fellow International Institute of Adult and Lifelong Learning, New Delhi, awarded by NCT of Delhi in the field of health, recommended by the University of Delhi in 2002, and completed about 8 major research projects funded by by various funding agencies. He also developed various MOOC contents in university engagement with adult education in India in 2 parts, project appraisal in terms of social benefits, program evaluation and monitoring, module number 4.2, and social audit, evaluation of innovative program and evaluation of established programs. Under these programs, some modules were prepared by him. With this brief introduction, Professor Rajesh, probably I think that I would have covered all the aspects regarding your resume. Hope so. With this brief introduction, Professor Rajesh, I like to express my sincere thanks to you, sir, for your ready acceptance to be the resource person for today's program and being amidst us. Now the session is handing over to you for further proceedings as our precious participants are eagerly waiting for your lecture. Thank you, sir. Now session is over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Uma. Thank you for inviting me on the platform of the university, Padmavati Women's University, which you discussed the entire history and development of the great university. I am really delighted and happy that the university, particularly your department, the head of the department, the dean, you are doing very, very active work at national and international level. And the activity programs are, widely acknowledged at national and international forum. There is no need to add more because we all understand that even today, not the students, scholars of your university, but of entire national level have joined from the field of social sciences. I'm highly thankful that you have invited your head of department, dean, vice chancellor, registrar. I'm highly thankful to all of you. And today, when we are having this session, we are at the time speaking from University of Delhi.
I request all the participants to mute your.
The university who is completing the 100 years in this year, and also we are discussing on the backdrop of new education policy 2020, and also starting the new program of Government of India, that is New India Literacy Program 2022 to 2027. Under this background, in Azadi Ke Amrit Mahotsav, we are here to discuss some background of researches, especially in social sciences today. We all remember that the university system has 3 roles. And the first rule is research, creation of knowledge, discovery in inventions, field laboratories, data collection, field work, part of research, and that is percolating down at undergraduate level, postgraduate level in the classroom, and at the society level under institutional social responsibility. We all know that most of the universities have implemented or implementing the new education policy 2020, relevant to refer here, because in undergraduate level, research component, project work, internship, community outreach, all have become the relevant part of undergraduate curriculum 2020. And this is why it is more important today to discuss or deliberate that it is our institution or the department which were talking interdisciplinarity, multidisciplinarity, but today the entire university system, nationally and globally, accepted the importance of multidisciplinarity in research. So our agenda today to discuss the multidisciplinarity of research. More preference provided to social research. Social scientists talk about ethnographical research, ethnography, based on culture, experience, and understanding research on any type of, with a platform to answer the researches with an array of techniques, methods, and theoretical perspectives. The process of research begins with the selection of topic, followed by appropriate methodology that the Madam Head of Department was talking. Appropriate methodology we use. Steps pertaining to data collection, maybe through library, archives, museum, field level work, survey, or the laboratories. Data may be collected qualitatively, quantitatively, which you will see within a week on the various types of the researches. The sources the researcher will take accordingly to his or her interest and depend on type of research that one is undertaking. If we talk of social sciences, sociology, social anthropology, education, there is no uniform toolkit of research given to the investigator researcher. So, choice of a research problem. More factors influence the choice of selection of a research problem of the social science researcher. Significance of scientific knowledge, idea, hypothesis, importance of ameliorating like life condition, empowerment that we see in health, ecology, and demography issues. Operational solution to human problems that we used to talk here. Researchers should ask following questions, maybe in the beginning. Does the topic, subject of study, the physical area, while inquiry will be carried at interest them? Is the problem amenable to scientific investigation? Do they have adequate resources of investigation? Whether the researcher in methods and techniques considered ethical issues, that has become a very, very important. Without the ethical consideration, we cannot go ahead for the research. Does the topic have any theoretical interest of researcher? We question all these things. The researcher should think one and more research topic at a time and areas of field work if it is closely related to their topic. Types of social researches once we talk. We may use qualitative and quantitative researches. The scientific status of qualitative research and qualitative research for describing the real life situation. When we are dealing with social and cultural life of people, it is relevant to remember Meredith, a researcher, a social science researcher, the ideal community study should start from a critical investigation, critical question, careful investigation of statistical analysis, a vital social and economic data concerning the investigation and families making up community being studied, if we are studying the community. The less measurable data on attitude, culture, traits, behavior, pattern in which social stratification is expressed as part of the members' various groups should be observed as a social researcher, and the result integrated into the framework of statistical knowledge. Research design is to be prepared according to the process of research. The purpose may be to gain familiarity with phenomena or to obtain new insights. The purpose may be accelerate phenomena. The purpose may be to test hypothesis of a causal relationship between variables and the controlled situation. These three or ideal types of research purposes, normally known as descriptive, experimental, and exploratory. Descriptive, experimental, and exploratory. The exploratory design intends to formulate a more precise research problem. Exploratory types acquaints researcher with the possibility and problems of studying real life situation. Insights gained from exploratory researches may provide a social base for the investigator and planning descriptive study. Most studies in sociology, social anthropology, social sciences are by and large today descriptive in nature. Detailed accounts of communities, their groups, institutions, events, and material culture, life histories of persons, by and large, we describe, falls into what, why, how it happened. Events are also predicted in descriptive works, descriptive researches. Sociologists and social anthropologists lay emphasis on fieldwork as social science researches and survey methods with the result of documentary research once we are working on the persons with margin. Documentary research is by and large is used in history as part of social sciences and not in social sciences as such, sociology, education, and social anthropology. Because here the focus is more on observation. Documentary evidences include both oral and written types. Ethnographer,
now we talk about, like I said, sir. Please unmute yourself, sir. Rajesh, sir.
Sorry. I don't know since when I was muted. Sorry. Ethnographers conduct number of sessions of interviewing their respondents through the various types such as personal documents, biographies, autobiographies, letters, diaries, sermons, poems, novels, and even newspapers. Literate people are also requested to write their accounts of life and their different cultural practices prevailing in social sciences and in their socio-cultural environment. French researcher added fieldwork in social sciences and accounts of tribal oral health accounts in 1937. Documentary evidences in social sciences is strengthening observations for attempting a brief historical sketch of people. Observation and interview becomes the integral part of social science research. For data collection, the researcher observes the behavior of people in their natural habitat and place of work. Observations should be distinguished from mere visiting and looking. Observations should be planned by the social science researcher because systematic working of their unit under the study using films and photographs with permission from where they are collecting the data. The researcher prepares an observation tool schedule that guides the data collection process. Studying non-verbal behavior communication can be also conducted in the natural setting of data collection. The observer lives with people. Once you are collecting data, the observer lives with people and eats the food they eat, get closer to them and take an active part in their day-to-day activities in the community where they are collecting the empirical data. The investigator has a first-hand experience of sharing a people's culture, people's life in their natural habit for a lengthy period of time. And this is why the ethnographers say that less than 8 or 9 months field work is no field work. Without a large time provided to the community, to the fieldwork situation, your data collection may be faulty in process. And this is why in the process, we also undertake the notes, mailed questionnaire, writing monographs, and we use also case study methods in the process of qualitative research. In the case study methods, we have qualitative research used to generate in-depth, multifaceted understanding of a complex phenomena and situation in the real life situation. And that is used in psychology, education, social work, and andragogy too. In the case study, we may be using the collective case study type, descriptive case study type, maybe exploratory case study type, and collecting the data on that way. Now we'll sharing some PPT to discuss.
अच्छा उनको कहिए इनेबल करने के लिए डिसेबल कर उन पे इनेबल करने के लिए
थोड़ा सा एनेबल करें डाटा शेयरिंग के लिए प्लीज. स्क्रीन शेयरिंग अलाउ प्लीज.
Yes, you are ready. Now you can share your screen, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
I request all the participants to mute yourself. When the floor is open for the question answer, then only you can unmute yourself. Otherwise, you please mute yourself.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. We begin with a concept or note. I was giving the background. Now something to show that, we say that the research is being, came into being the meaning of search and search again. It refers to scientific and systematic search for pediment information on a specific topic area. In keywords of concept of research, we say that formulating a defensible and researchable research problems. What is known about research topic that I was discussing? What is a research question? And we use deductive and inductive research. In deductive research, conceptualizing helps to translate portions of an abstract theory into testable hypotheses involving specific various issues. Inductive research, conceptualization is an important part of process used to make sense of related observations. Once we conceptualize research, we use locating and defining issues or problems, designing the research topic, collecting data, interpreting research data, and report research findings in the conceptualization of research topic. So far as importance of research is concerned, to inform action, gather evidence for theories, and contribute for developing knowledge. Research is basically an art and science of investigation. It is a scientific process of answering a research question, solving a problem, or generating new knowledge through a systematic collection. What we do is identification of research problem, reviewing historical and contemporary information, reviewing further information, data collection, and analyzing, drawing, and conclusion drawing. If we see the types of researches, we can consider in social sciences the ethnographic research that I was analyzing, fundamental research, analytical research, applied research, empirical research, qualitative research, and quantitative research. that field research. This we can use. Since we use inductive and deductive logic, we understand the reasoning of inductive and deductive reasoning. While inductive reasoning is the art of making generalized conclusions based on a specific scenario, deciding on incentives plans based on an employee survey. While in deductive reasoning, the art of backing up of a generalized statement with a specific scenario. Example may be planning out of a budget the highest output from youth investigation. The basic purpose of research that we discuss: exploration. Once researchers lack a clear idea of a problem which they will meet during the course of study, establish top priorities, develop concept, define operational definition, formulate research hypothesis, improve the research design. Suppose gender-related violence is increasing. The purpose need to be explored. Description: it is information gathering through data, situation, and events that are described through studies are referred to descriptive studies. Descriptive studies described questions: what, when, how, all these questions we repeatedly question, and what are the characteristics of a people involved in crime. Basic purpose of research. Causal exploration, where cause and effect relationship are established between the various variables. Why people are involved in crime. Prediction. Prediction seeks to answer in what way the event will occur, provide plausible explanation of event of questions. Research might provide investigate law of nature, provide solution to different problems, save costs, improve our life, make new discoveries. Scientific base of research relies on empirical evidence, utilize relevant concepts. As we seen in the graph already, that it may be pure or basic research, applied research, qualitative research, quantitative research, ethnographical research, case study methods, qualitative and quantitative. I think it is repeated. Pure and basic research, as we say, pure and basic research is done for the advancement of knowledge. It is also referred to pure or fundamental research or basic societal utility of a science. It helps in developing pedagogical theory or analytical innovator, is a primarily concerned with the expansion of knowledge. Applied research, it is a scientific study and research that seeks to solve practical problems. It may be called professional research, seeks to find solution to immediate problems. It is a non-systematic process of providing solutions to the specific problems. Ethnographic research, we already discussed, it is the study of the people in their own environment through the use of participant observation, face-to-face interviewing, description of a culture. The focus of ethnographic research is direct observation in the community rather than lab in their natural environment. Key stages of research process at the ethnography level is preparation, data gathering, recording, analyzing the issues and concerns. The ethnographic research process, again we discuss, identify the core product area. Identify the core product area, it is repeated, formulate the research question, collect raw data, analyze the collected data in the ethnography. Descriptive research, we have observational method used, survey method used, and case study method used in descriptive type. In analytical type, we review historical research, philosophical research, and research synthesis we used to undertake. Again, focusing on ethnographic research, summarizing the behaviors, beliefs of the people, understanding attitude, understanding values. Ethnography is the description of way of life or culture of a society. In tribal areas, normally we undertake, or rural area, normally we undertake the ethnographic researches. Empirical research based on observation and measurement of phenomena. The data gathered will be compared with theory or hypothesis, but the result is based on real life situation, real life experiences. Data is collected from direct observation or experimentation in empirical researches. Qualitative research uses participant observation, case study that we were discussing. It has in-depth interviews, focus group discussions, and observation. Ethnography is one of the popular methods of qualitative research that covers narrative, phenomenology, grounded theory, and case study methods. Qualitative research at a glance, there we have one-to-one interview, case study methods, record keeping, process of observation, ethnographic research, and focus group discussions. Aims to get better understanding through first-hand experience, truthful reporting, and quotations of actual conversations in the qualitative researches. Qualitative, quantitative, some few things we say that in qualitative research we explore, where in quantitative we say we quantify. In qualitative research, we further go for deeper understanding, deeper exploration at the qualitative level. But in quantitative level, we validate, and validate on the basis of statistical tools being used and making the understanding and decision in quantitative, where we seek to understand in qualitative level. So qualitative level, explore further, go deeper in understanding and develop understanding. Whereas at quantitative level, we say we quantify, validate, and make the appropriate decisions. Quantitative research is focused on quantifying the collection, analysis of data, and deal with systematic. It allows you to systematic measure variables and test the hypothesis that we have used. I think Nitish is working. By and large, in our social science research, what we used to do, that we use the quantitative techniques and the various types that we say, and we collect data through various sources, through various methods that we, in course of time, we will discuss. And also we will develop our understanding on the basis of what we used to say. So not going further, on theoretical basis, we would like to discuss something with you so that some interaction can take place. This is why I became brief in discussion, so that it should not be lecture method, it must be some interaction today. Yeah, thanks for an open for discussion. The platform is now open for discussion, Dr. Uma.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now the floor is open for the discussion, madam. Sirs,
Sorry,
now you can unmute yourself and
in between, I think I was muted so many times, so it may be some connectivity problem.
Dear
So,
participants,
madams?
you can post your questions even in chat box also.
Yeah, you can just give it in chat box also.
Yeah,
that
now
we
the
can-
forum is open for discussion.
Yeah. You can
Yes.
discuss also whatever you like on this platform, anything related to your questions. We thought that I must not be one-way method, so must be some discussion also. This is why I kept myself brief today. Yeah.
Even the research scholars, you can clarify your doubts with regard to your research, sample design, techniques to be followed also.
Yes, you can.
Please feel free to ask any questions. Sir is waiting.
sir is having vast research knowledge also, and not only knowledge, but also experience, research experience also. So you can pose on any of your doubt regarding to the research. Whether it may be on transgender or whatever may be the area, he will clarify your doubts.
While we were working on counseling and guidance, the University Grants Commission provided us a national level research on the effectiveness of counseling services in university system. So I am talking about 2000, we developed a multi-centric tool, and that multi-centric tool was validated with the help of the experts, and the psychologists, educationists were provided their input in the study of effectiveness of counseling services in the university system. A national level research commissioned by the University Grants Commission and United Nations Fund for Population Education. The the data was collected through open-ended questionnaire, mailed questionnaire, and also focus group discussions were undertaken with various what you call groups in the various universities in North, South, East, and West university. I remember the Women's University, SNDT, Women University also. We collected data. We collected data in Trivandrum, Kerala, Chennai, at several places, and several catharsis were also added. Several case studies were also added as part of the research investigation, and then the it was analyzed on the basis of social science SPSS package, and the report was published by UGC UNFPA as part of national level researches on the effectiveness of counseling services. And there we have seen the types of the questions and the age group of the respondents, and how our telephonic personal counseling services were used by the various student clients and through the various users through telephone in the system. And that study was part of the University Grants Commission Population Education in Higher Education 2001, 2000 and 2001. That was very popular. I remember the renowned psychologist Professor Aruna Bruta, where we discussed the multicentric multidisciplinary questionnaires with them, and it was translated into many languages, because when we collect data and we go to various respondent, language also become a very, very important issue. Yeah, it also become a very, very important issue once we go for collection, that are we collecting the data in their language of the respondent, whether they understand the verbal or non-verbal communication, whether we undertake the field level diaries, maintaining the diaries, photographic evidences, other evidences we collect, because in research, in social science research, the process is very, very important. And this is why we query ourselves while collecting the data. Are we right? Are we right in answering what, when, how, where, that we question. And while the raw data is prepared, it becomes a very, very important thing. I used to refer to my research scholar, Oxford University publication, where a sociologist has undertaken, educationist or a sociologist, a renowned sociologist, Professor Meenakshi Thapan, who has undertaken her PhD level work, who remained the professor of education and sociology in University of Delhi, and work on Rishi Valley School. So her PhD study on Rishi Valley School, one analytical chapter in published in Oxford University publication, which was edited by the Professor Vinay Srivastav, who is no more now, and he was a very good ethnographer. And while narrating the qualitative level, researches by Professor Meenakshi Thapan in that Oxford book, she has narrated how the data was collected by her in the study of the Rishi Valley School. And this narrative, the narrative is very interesting. I wish that by the end of that, I will send you the piece of that research article. University Press, Oxford University Press, as part of their field level data collection from, Rishi Valley School, and interaction with the various stakeholders in the school, maybe management, maybe school teachers, maybe teachers, and other kind of bodies while undertaking the researches. And she was there for 1 year, and finally, a very important narrative of her research were culminated in form of the research finding. And this is why I repeat that the ethnographers say in the social sciences research that less than 8 month or 9 month level research, field work is no field work. You will not able to collect data. And this is why a very good researcher who wrote a qualitative level research book, Professor Andhra Bette, a renowned sociologist also, while he was telling, he said that he stayed in a village where he has to collect data on the research of caste system. And he said that he stayed there not as an Andhra Bette, as a renowned sociologist, but as a unknown, anonymous name, and collected data and interacted with the various caste groups. And then he wrote a qualitative level book on, the caste system of the particular region and of that particular area. So as a social science researcher, our field is the laboratory where through various methods, through various verbal and non-verbal communication, we gathered data, we gathered empirical level data, and then appropriately we analyze the situation, and the research findings comes in that way. So that process are being used in the process of collecting data, developing the tools, and finally coming out of the final findings. So the process remains very, very important while undertaking our researches. If such experience you have while undertaking, the research work is a very, very important, aspect to share here at our level. Yeah, thank you.
So there are 3 questions in the YouTube link, and Iban Rilankar Swear and has asked how to identify a research problem.
Okay. And what the second question?
What are best strategies for writing empirical article? Kochanda Shankar Rao has asked.
Okay.
And third question, Juhi Gupta has asked, is the qualitative research more suitable or quantitative research?
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. Excuse me, sir. I have a question.
Yes, please.
Could you please elaborate on the feminist perspective of research? Once you have answered all these questions, I did
Yeah.
put my question on the chat box, but it was not raised, so I had to kind of come up and ask verbally. Please, thank you so much,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you, thank you. You know,
Feminist perspective of research.
sure, sure, sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. You know, very important questions are there. Very, very important. How to identify a research problem is a very, very important issue in all disciplines, in all professions. Equally important to, social sciences also. Identification of a problem normally we take very casually, and we know that we know that the researcher used to come and say, sir, working on this, working on that, and we do not discuss too much, analyze too much, think too much while deciding the research problem. While deciding the research problem, our interest, our background remains very, very important. You see, I basically a history student from the beginning. When I was exposed to the social issues of the vulnerable population, I worked with the transgender, as Dr. Uma said, injecting the user, female sex workers, migrant workers, and gradually the interest and the area of research changed as with the experiences and as with the working the area of research, you see. So while exploring or identifying the question, we must explore ourselves that probably what I said in the beginning, that we should have more than one question in our mind, more than a dozen questions in our mind, and then we prioritize the question, and then we come with our solution, and we decide with the help of the professionals, supervisors, and those in the field that this will be a better kind of research problem. So it is a process. Identifying a research question, a problem, is a process, and we must follow the research process, that ultimately are we undertaking the research for developing the theory in the field, for benefiting the society at large. If it is, what is the group to be we are following? There must be certain questions to our mind, and we must answer before discussing with our supervisor, with our professionals. And it may be that after working on some time, it might some new area come to our mind. There is no harm if we change and of the direction and the topic of that. So through that process, we should try to develop a research problem and a research question through a process of undertaking the thing. So far as second issue is concerns, while we are writing the articles, collecting the data, the empirical data or empirical writing, you see, there are certain things in our mind, that we must first take up our core areas, the basic ideas, basic conceptualization, and then the body of the things that we are taking, considering that, look, these are the main terminology, core points that we are working out. And before doing that, we try to develop a abstract, we try to develop a kind of a main noting of the things on the, the empirical research paper we used to, identify. And while doing that, we must have a proper understanding of the
Sir, unmute, sir, please.
I don't know why it is, on his own muted. I don't know. Sorry. While developing the research question, what we were talking, that by and large, you see, first we have the systematic review of literature from the historical perspective to the contemporary issue. And while we undertake that from historical perspective and the contemporary issue, qualitative, quantitative, whatever available with us, then we should start writing the abstract and then synthesize our various issues and concerns that we use to raise the question in the empirical article. We must understand that whatever we are writing, in one form or the other, it is available in the universe of knowledge. So the new thing we wish to add in the universe of knowledge, because there is an explosion of knowledge available in that area, in that domain. And under the domain, we have to add that what the new point, what the new idea they are trying to, we are trying to include that. So in our conclusion, in our recommendation of our empirical article, that must come into being, that this is the historical thing available, that is the contemporary issue available, that is the empirical data we have collected, and this thing we are adding a new thing in the dimension of our research perspective. So that becomes a very, very important issue and concern from our point of view. And time and again, it is always asked, so far as third question is concerned, that which data, which type of research is good research, qualitative or quantitative. And when we question with the professional, when we question with ourselves, we used to say, perhaps it is not the qualitative, perhaps it is not the quantitative, perhaps it is the combination of both. In one researches, we have qualitative level issues, we have quantitative level issues. And it is said sometimes that it is the best research where we use the both techniques, qualitative and quantitative at a time, depending upon our research question, depending upon our objectives, and depending upon the synthesis of the issues and concern. And it is better where we have a qualitative and quantitative level, both the things. I was citing you a qualitative level research of Meenakshi Thapan, which I said that published in a Oxford University Press, a very good paper you will see, written in form of catharsis, available in form of catharsis in that publication, and very good study that the professor used in education and sociology, both while collecting the qualitative level research in the Rishi Valley School. So it is the combination, but even if it is a qualitative, even if it is a quantitative, it depends upon how we have treated our data, how we have developed our tools, and how we have analyzed, that makes our research perfect in the context. While asking, Madam had asked a very, very important issue that we were dealing in the morning itself about the feminist perspective of research. And while Madam was asking, I always remembering, our professor of adult education, Professor Anita Dighe. Professor Anita Dighe, who was professor of JNU, she came to Delhi University, also visited. She perhaps wrote paper also. And while she was coming to research platform, she was emphasizing, she was overemphasizing, she was dealing with the feminist perspective of research, because it is she was always giving with the data that the feminist researches that perhaps in the infant stage, it is not in the stage of development, and from the literature, from the philosophy, from the body of knowledge, and it is by and large seen that the feminist perspective of research is not here, but even in the Western researches, quoting the things she was talking, that this perspective is missing. I remember while dealing with some university in a refresher course, some women professor raised that issue, that here the feminist, and citing her example from epics, from Mahabharata, from other, historical epics, that, from the beginning itself, the feminist researchers or feminist researches have suffered. And here today, when in our domain, the third gender have also been included, here we see in the body of knowledge, there is no researches available. There is no researches available. There is no contemporary researches available. And even in our mythology, it is only being quoted. It is being quoted. No systematic account of literature available, discussion is available at that level. And this is why it suffers from that point of view. There is a need, and there is a systematic efforts also to rewrite the feminist perspective of research. There are some examples where the efforts are being done in literature, in social sciences. I remember here a political scientist, Professor Neera Chandu, where she had added the component of the feminist researches in her political theory of researches while she was dealing with the research kind of a thing. A very good area, a need of exploration. There is a further need of developing the connotation of the feminist researches in our contemporary theory. Yeah, thank you.
So another two more questions are there. Will you please?
Yes.
Preeti Patanjali has asked two questions. One is that, so since it is about data collection and then analysis of the particular community or culture, so would it be right to call it close to folklore?
Yes.
Another question is,
yeah.
Could you please explain the folkloric aspects related to it?
A very important issue, yes. Dr.
Indira Gandhi also asked one more question: how to solve the indirect research problem?
Indirect. What is the question?
How to solve the indirect research problem?
Okay.
Indirect research problem.
Okay.
How could we solve the indirect research problem?
Yeah. In fact, you see, the first issue that is being raised is related to the folklore. We see in the contemporary time, many works are being done in literature and in what you call in the different perspective on the aspect of collecting the folklore. even if you say in the new education policy, there is a focus. And this is why here the curricular and co-curricular, both the things are together. Here the various languages, the vernacular languages, and then, you know, the various art, architecture, culture, folklore are being provided specific importance in the study. And while undertaking the researches, there is a need to further discover this component in researches, and it is our role as a researcher, as an investigator, that this aspect of folklore through the verbal, through the non-verbal, because we have a tradition. We have a very strong tradition of oral culture. We mentioned in the beginning also, and very strong culture of folklore. But if we see the researches available, perhaps there are some efforts, but further systematic efforts are needed to collect the things, analyze the thing, document the thing, and taken in a new perspective, you know. So that becomes a very, very important area. Thanks that you have hinted towards a very important area of research, you see. You know, taking up, you know, indirect researches, if you could further, you know, build your argument that from what perspective you are quoting the indirect researches, we could further build our argument, develop our argument, and we could see that how the direct, in fact, we used to undertake the direct research or indirect research. Normally, the journalists, they used to use the term direct or indirect, you know, researches. We, as a researcher, normally engaged, involved in the direct researches, but you know, issues and concerns are also there, where we have the importance of indirect researches, and at several levels, you know, we could remember that in rural appraisal, when we go to the rural area and other parts of the things, and even in historical researches, maybe in some other type of researches also, this terminology is being used so that something data can be taken from the particular, you know, group of people. So depend on the situation from where we are undertaking that issue. Thank you.
Are there any more questions from the participants, please? Sir, I think there are no questions. There are no more questions, I think.
Thank you. Since it was your beginning of the day, what we have done, that it was the day of ice breaking. So we would try to do the ice breaking of a 5-day program, where you will have a serious business of researches developing over the days, and qualitative, quantitative, statistical packages, everything. Dr. Uma is a very good researcher, national, international level. Department is doing very good work, and we all are a very important researcher. What I would say, Dr. Uma, I would remember that I had visited 4-day qualitative research level program in International Institute of Population Sciences, where Professor Armiti Desai, who was a well-wisher, a social scientist, researcher, chairperson of the University Grants Commission. So she, Professor Armiti Desai, used to say that in researches, every day we should try to undertake some kind of researches. We should not mind the sample, maybe sample, maybe less sample, maybe more. I can cite one more example in counseling and guidance itself, when we were there in University Grant Commission, and when it was asked that how many response one is getting from counseling services in the university system, it was said that the number are maybe somebody telling 50, somebody telling 100 response of counseling. So the expert of UNESCO said that it is not the number that matters, it is the quality. Because if you get one question per day, one question means if you are answering a person, if you are counseling a person in one day, perhaps it is also enough, because one has a family, one has a community, one has a institution, one has a large number of socialization group. So one data here is not one may be 100, one may be 1,000. So while taking the data, collecting the data, undertaking the researches, we should not always say that maybe 1,000 sample are important, 500 sample are important. Maybe some in-depth case studies, in-depth few data, that we are taking, that remains important so far as qualitative level research are concerned. So the qualitative research, level research here, sometimes we say is a human research where we apply our mind. In quantitative, when we analyze through the machine, it may be that human touch is not there. And this is why we said that it is the qualitative and quantitative, both things required while undertaking a very good research at our level, So very, very important that a researcher, we are throughout life investigating, undertaking the researches, collecting data, and we must be printing in one form or the other. That is what Professor Armiti Desai was quoting in the day of research, and that we should try to practice as a researcher. Thank you, Dr. Uma.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your very nice and flamboyant speech on the research methods, observation, case study, analytical and descriptive, etc., etc. And it is really a wonderful session, sir. And I must be thankful to you because you have accepted my invitation to act as a resource person soon after, immediately when I approached you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all participants. I think I have also learned so many things because you have asked a very, very important question. And it is also a learning from my side. Research is a two-way, learning process. So I am also a learner like you. Thank you all. Thank you, organizer, for giving me time on the first day. And I hope that we'll have the meaningful session on the other day, and our finding will be very useful. Good day. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Now it is a time for proposing vote of thanks. It is a privilege and great honor to me to propose vote of thanks on behalf of Women Studies Center for the first day capacity building program on research methodology for social sciences. I would like to thank our today's program resource person, Professor Rajesh sir, for delivering such a striking and astonishing speech and his ready acceptance soon after I consulted him. My special thanks are due to our head, Professor G. Sandhyarani Madam, the organizing secretary, for her constant guidance and support given to me in organizing this program. I would like to thank all the teaching and non-teaching staff of Women's Studies Center and the department for their support in organizing this one-week capacity building program on research methodology for social sciences. Last but not least, I would like to thank all the participants of the webinar, without whose participation and support this program would not have been succeeded. And there is some little bit, announcements are here. I request all the participants to submit the feedback form posted in the chat box. Without submission of this feedback form, you will not get the tomorrow's link to attend the program. Please be careful in filling your email ID, as wrong spell may lead to non-receipt of tomorrow's link. Hence, I request you all to submit your feedback compulsorily, and thank you one and all. I request Dr. M. Sucharita to post the feedback link in the chat box of both YouTube Live and also the Zoom link. Sucharita, please post the feedback links, please. And I request all the participants to submit the feedback links.
Yeah, the feedback list is not available on the chat box.
Just now she will.
The feedback list is not
post it,
available
madam.
in the
Otherwise,
chat
I will
box.
do
So
it.
requesting to
And
please send it.
the Zoom link will be
Thank you, sir.
open until you fill up the submit the feedback. Sarita, are you there?
좀 카대도 좀 담아가 도도이노 생활하는 거 다른 말이 보고 다 비자라면서 야바 한번 담가나 보시는데
Yes, just now I posted, madam. Those who have submitted their feedback link can leave the link, Zoom meetings, madam. For another 15 minutes, this will be open.
Then I form fill up the have a go. What a form. Come on, fill up the winner.
Good.
I Zoom meeting our form fill up the have. See that? See the promotion of Nipa. Taraboido.
Are moi link no do the tagalay do they do the nahan form and give to go samana na tagat panedo resource person na ngangi do good excellent I have never excellent to tazalo. Ado
Okay.
mo ka idagi panggen have do na WhatsApp tagi pang banana haraga
Okay.
kano to ro nangi phone number do how pro do submit to ro yare. Nangi ming kano ka do di fazana ha ko certificate hayeng parakana ni. Ay thame ko.
Why?
సుచి ఏం సుచి అది ఎవరు చూడలే మళ్ళా నేను పెట్టాల్సి వచ్చింది
Gracias.